shirt, no rest for the real. Still spine straight, I'm a soldier, no chill. Snakes in the grass, they creep and conceal. 20/30 vision, better sharpen your steel. We won't stop, I won't quit. Stand for the truth, no counterfeit. Real ones rise, let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies, let the darkness live. Echoes in the swamp, whispers in the wind. Legacy to build, can't let the devil win. Cash rules the weak, but my soul don't bend. 20/30 knocking, better cleanse that sin. They want us to sleep, but the light stays on. Fake smiles, fake friends, all of them gone. Cages of comfort, we breaking out strong. Roots in the south, but the fight's lifelong. We won't stop, I won't quit. Stand for the truth, no counterfeit. Real ones rise, let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies, let the darkness live. Prepare for the storm, skies turning gray. The wolves in the suit got dues to pay. From the ashes we climb, no time to delay. The real ones prepare for the judgment day. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. I am your humble host, Wise. I appreciate you guys pulling up on this fine Tuesday morning. I hope all is well with you guys. Grace and peace. Praise the Lord. We got a great show today. We got a little bit to get into. Today's show will not be 3 hours. I promise you it won't be 3 hours today. I didn't expect for it to go 3 hours yesterday, but it did. And, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. I was happy to see you guys, man. I opened it up for call-ins. Shout out to Israel Pena for calling in for the first time yesterday. That was awesome. Shout out to LS. Shout out to my guy Malachi pulling up for a little bit yesterday. And, of course, we had the usual suspects on the show. You know, Crystal from Crystal Beyond Labels pulled up for a bit. So did Jason from the J Witt podcast. He pulled up for a bit. And, things tend to, go a little longer, when we bring the crew on. So, but it was good. It was good. It was good to see you guys. I was running on fumes yesterday. I am rested, relaxed. I am recharged. Yesterday I was running on fumes. I didn't get in until early in the morning. By the time I laid it down, it was probably 1 o'clock in the morning or so. I flew up from Atlanta Sunday evening. And I didn't even get here to Baltimore until it was like 12:30 or so. So, yeah. But the show must go on, right? You know what I'm saying? I like to be a man of my word. We say we're going to kick this thing back off, on Monday, Monday the 8th. Regardless of how I felt, I was like, I am getting up. I am doing this. You guys could hear my voice. It was a little rough. Yeah, it was a struggle. But we made it through what it do, right? And we made it through. And I'm glad I was able to do it, man, because I was really, really happy to see you all in the chat. And I appreciate you guys pulling up and just supporting what we're doing over here, at A Righteous Perspective in the morning. I know you get a lot of folks out there that is like, hey, ARP, there's this liberal, I'm like, no, it's just ARP, just the one A. Just the one A. But I appreciate you guys, man. God bless you all. Shout out to all my ARP family members, man. I appreciate you all supporting the channel. Shout out to everybody that supports the channel via Buy Me a Coffee. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much, for supporting what we're doing over here. When you're on this side of things, it's an uphill battle. We don't have we're not like the David Pachmans of the world and all these other folks, who are receiving big bags, from the DNC. And more times than not, man, we're always, fighting an uphill battle on this side of things. And I appreciate you guys rocking with me and supporting me. Shout out to my guy Ed, Ed Meyer out there out of Mississippi, man. He's been rocking with your guy for a long time. Shout out to him. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Hope all is well down there in Mississippi. So before we get started, let me show some folks. Let me show some love to my folks in the chat before we get things off. And I want to say, shout out to my blues, the old and the new. Shout out to Lori Addison. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. First person in the chat. And, she earned the opportunity. She earned this spot right here to be a blue. And I do appreciate you, Lori. She says, good morning and happy Tuesday. Please show some love and hit that daggone like button on the way in. Shout out to Molly Pitcher joining the ARP family. Thank you very much. Appreciate you joining the channel and supporting the show. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Molly. Shout out to my guy, Hunter. Now, if you guys know anything and you guys been rocking with the channel for a long time, Hunter always comes through and kicks the show off with the Bible verse to get things kicked off. So we're going to get that read. Shout out to my guy, Hunter. Appreciate you, brother. North Carolina in the building. He says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Shout out to Marla. Shout out to Larry Montgomery. Appreciate you. What's up, Ed? What up, Shelby Died? What's going on? Shout out to Leonard. Is it Baj Ramaj? Hopefully I pronounced that properly. Shout out to Cameron Patterson. Grace and peace to you, brother. Appreciate you. LHF Guardian Rob. Shout out to you. West Sand Lake, New York in the building. Shout out to Amber Cherie. Appreciate you. Laurel, Mississippi in the building. Shout out. And LHF Guardian Rob, been a member for 12 months. Been rocking with your guy for a year. Shout out to you, man. Says, just hit the year mark being a member. Love to all, man. I appreciate that, man. A year supporting me and supporting what we're doing. I tell my wife all the time, man, I'm so humbled, to be honest with you. It's such a blessing, to have you good people, continue to support, the channel over here and what we're doing. And, hey, I tell y'all all the time, man, we're building the plane as we fly it. This live stream thing, it is new and it is different in comparison to just doing shorter form videos. It is different. And it's a lot more work involved. There's a lot more preparation to get ready, to do this, for an hour to an hour and a half, upwards of 3 hours. There's a lot more preparation involved in comparison to doing, shorter form content. Not to say that, doesn't have some work involved, but this aspect of things, because, hey, you mess up. There is no, oh, I'm going to start that over. There is no, let me edit that out. Nah, hey, you mess up, you mess up. And, I appreciate you guys, just, working with me and watching me continue to grow. And like I say, man, we're building the plane as we fly it. We're going into, month 9 of doing the daily live stream. We're probably about 6 months into the ARP in the morning, doing the morning show. I probably should have counted, episode 1 through whatever, but I mean, is it that big of a deal? I guess maybe it is. Maybe I should count it, because maybe when we get to episode 100, maybe we'll throw a party or a shindig of some sort. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to have to go back and count it, or maybe I can get somebody to go count it for me to let me know, like, hey, this is when we started in the morning time, and this is how many shows we're at. So I'll have to do that and kind of get that figured out. We might already be at 100 shows. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. But shout out to Deborah Carver. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well with you. What up, John Doe? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for pulling up. Shout out to my blues. Zephyr K9 in the building. I hope you're all doing well. Y'all make sure y'all keep her lifted up. She had surgery last week, and I know she's on the mend, but she still is able to pull up. I appreciate you, Zephyr. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What's up, Jane Facto? What's going on? What's going on? Malachi is headed to Denver. Y'all make sure y'all keep him lifted up, man. Traveling grace, keep him lifted up in prayer. Shout out to Amber Young. We got It's 420 Wood. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's up, Angela? How you doing this morning? Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you up there in Jersey. Jersey. Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Who else we got up in here? Billy W in the building. We got Marcy Richards in the house. Appreciate you pulling up. She says, praise God for another day. Let me highlight her real quick. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Absolutely. Shout out to Scott Young. Appreciate you. What up, Queen Chloe? Dallas in the building. But those of you guys that don't know, I named Queen Chloe. She got that from me. So I'm sure her husband is now being forced to call her Queen Chloe. And just so y'all also know, she's on the bougier side of things. She drinks her Starbucks with the pinky in the air. We got a good amount of bougie folks. We got a bougie Crystal up in here too. What's up, Dion? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. What's good with you? What's going on? Diane, appreciate you. Rico Champion, appreciate you pulling up. Grace and Peace from Cincinnati. Let me highlight him. Cincinnati in the building. Hey, I'm not sure if you're a Bengals fan, but whoo, it looked good, man. It didn't look good on Sunday. Myles Garrett was on Barrows behind. I guess I should probably say pause, huh? I think the young people would say pause after something like that. What's up, Donald Lovejoy? Appreciate you. We got Rafat Sarkis. Appreciate you pulling up out of Daytona Beach. Appreciate you. Riza Mahmood, what's going on with your brother? Grace and Peace. I'm sure you're happy up there, man. The pack looked good on Saturday or Sunday. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. What is that? Is that wealth? Is that wealth health or wealthy self? Sorry about that. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you. Shout out to Kenneth Moles. Appreciate you. What's going on, Gerard Caswell? It's good to see you, man. Shout out to you with the $5 super chat. Says, good morning, ARP fam. May God bless you and count on you today and every day. Thank you very much, man. What's up, Norman? How you doing this morning? We got Footboard Hobo. Appreciate you pulling up. First post, man. Y'all make sure y'all show Footboard Hobo some love, man. This is first time in the chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. What up, Chester? How you doing this morning? Taxachusetts in the building. We got Rose Beth out of California. Appreciate you pulling up. I see you in the chat. I don't know if I think this might be the first time I've seen you in the, in the chat, on the live stream, but I do see you in the comment section. So appreciate you pulling up, man. Thank you very much. We got Kathy Love in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Latrice Harris, good morning to you as well. Appreciate you pulling up. Annie Love in the building. Big E, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All right. Oh, Kathy Love says she gonna hang out with us all the way through, huh? A lot of y'all were dropping off yesterday. I know y'all had to go to work. I know y'all got stuff going on, hanging out with me for 3 hours. Like, man, is this dude gonna stop? What's up, Christina? How you doing? What's going on? We got Kay Lorinda in the building. What's up, Leslie Aaron? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Billboard Chester said 4 hours. Nah, not today. Not today. Not today. But I do enjoy opening it up and giving you guys an opportunity to call up, and chop it up with me or chop it up with the guests that we have on. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. What's up, Quincy? How you doing this morning, brother? What's going on? We got Eric Smith in the building. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you. Uh-oh. Eric Smith coming in here. So Governor Westmore is this 6'1", might be mixed with Chinese who had a grandmother born in communist Cuba. I'm going to throw that out there. Works out with midshipmen and looks like he can fight and is scared. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. I need to cover Westmore. He's somebody I'm going to talk about today because they went out there and did this little fake march out in Baltimore City. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that today. Not on this show, but it'll be a video that'll come out a little later. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Diane. Thank you. Yeah, the voice was rough yesterday. It was a struggle. It was a struggle yesterday. Shout out to Eric Smith with the $2 super sticker. Appreciate you. What up, LS? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, brother. Hope all is well. We got Charmaine Springfield Glover. She got her entire government up here. Appreciate you. What's up, Nelly? How you doing? Curtis Brown in the building. Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up. We got Papa Dodd in the building. South Cac in the house. Krista Knight in the building. What's up, Patsy Hutchison? Shout out to you. We got Leslie L in the building out of Washington. All right now. Queen Bee's Art Hive in the house. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Curtis Brown says faith without works is dead. Absolutely. Absolutely. Insanity's darling in the building. PB34R. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Appreciate you. Who else we got up in here? Oh. Queen Chloe said, making her own coffee. No Starbucks today. Changing my name to Bro Chloe. Oh my goodness. What's up, Lisa Riggins? How you doing? Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Said kind of new to the channel. Okay. Hey, y'all make sure y'all show Lisa Riggins some love. She's kind of new to the channel. I'm not exactly sure exactly what that means. Maybe it's a day or two or so. Maybe it's a week. Who knows? But appreciate you, Lisa. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Y'all make sure y'all show her some love. We got Teresa Bennett in the building, new listener. Y'all make sure y'all show Teresa Bennett some love. Welcome her properly in the chat. My blues, my blues and my vets. Y'all make sure y'all show her some love, man. Appreciate you. All right, Ed. All good. All good. What's up, Aon? How's it going this morning? Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up. Okay, look at that. It says, I usually just listen in, but want to share my son is a Marine on the USS Iwo Jima, currently in the 22nd mute, with the mission regarding Venezuela. Hey, man, let's make sure we keep them lifted up in prayer out there. Let's keep all our Marines and all our folks, in the service. Let's make sure that we keep them lifted up in prayer. Thank you, AI, man, for allowing your son to get out there and serve. Thank you very much. We'll appreciate you, man. We'll appreciate his service as well. Thank you very much. And Iwo Jima, I got to think. I think the Iwo Jima, I think that's an amphibious assault ship. It might be one of the smaller ones, though. I was on the USS Wasp back in the day, LHD-1 amphibious assault ship. I spent majority of my career with Marines. They're different. They're a different breed of individual. And I don't say that to denigrate. They're just different. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave that right there. If you know, you know. Shout out to James Harris. Grace and peace to you, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got InfoWars in the building. Okay. I see you. I see you. I see you. Appreciate you. All right. We got Rebel for the Truth. Appreciate you pulling up. All right. And Jasmine, what's going on? Maga Tamara in the building, graces us with her presence. Appreciate you. Appreciate you pulling up. We got Glenn Luthi in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Appreciate you. Yeah. Oh, Kenneth said, if you move to North Carolina, don't move to Charlotte. Yeah, I don't have any interest in Charlotte. I have some family members that are outside of Charlotte. And we actually had a family reunion down there in Charlotte some years back. This was probably maybe 10 or 15 years. Actually, it's more than 10 or 15 years ago. Probably because my oldest son was maybe 5 or 6. So I guess it probably about 15 or 16 years ago, maybe a little longer than that. What's up, Shari? How you doing this morning? We got Spaces in the building. What's going on? What up, Jai? How you doing this morning? Said he just came back from Boston. Okay. All right. Yeah, these highways. Hey, we got some folks out there, man. We got some folks out there, man, that probably shouldn't be on the roads right now. What up, Spirit Walker Yoda, Pensacola, Florida in the building. Appreciate you. So, yeah, we got to make sure that we keep these folks lifted up in prayer, man. Keep them safe. D. Surrey in the building. Shout out to you. And we got Midnight Rider Gary. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. That he's normally quiet, but wanted to show some love in the chat, man. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, that's the only way I know you're watching, if you actually at least drop one comment in the chat early on so I can show you some love. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Eric Smith said, even though I live in D.C., he's not bougie. Hey, y'all know he lying. Everybody in D.C. is bougie. Eric Smith he's one of those pinky in the air, sipping on his Starbucks. Now, y'all actually got those, what do you call it? Those real elegant, high-end coffee shops down there in D.C. Us, us poor folks out here in Baltimore, hey, we don't fit in down there on the DC side of things. We just don't fit in down there. What's up, Tammy Jerry? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you. And we got Lydia Mink in the building. Minneapolis, Minnesota in the house. Shout out to you, Tony T. And what's up, Amethyst Angel? Oh, no, here she comes in here with this fly equals fly stuff. Okay, I see you. What's up, Melissa? How you doing? Honolulu in the building. We got Drew Franks in the house. Shout out to you, man. We're going to get the show started. Man. Shout out to Mark Galvin. What's going on with you, man? Appreciate you pulling up. Howard Gordon and Kathy Love and Cameron Patterson, man. Peace and grace and peace to you guys, man. Thank you guys very much for pulling up this morning. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. We're going to get the show kicked off. Hit the like button, join the ARP family, gift an ARP family membership, support this channel, support what we're doing over here. Super chat, super thanks would be greatly appreciated. If you got a question, super chat is the best way to get it answered because it will stop the show and it will get read. Obviously you could buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And we're going to get things kicked off, man. Let's get going. All right. Spent a little longer than normal, showing love. But I this is what we do, right? We got to make sure, that we show you guys love. What's up, Robin Thompson? How you doing this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. You guys don't even understand it, man. You guys bless me. When I get a chance to see you guys, you know what I'm saying, and just show some love to you guys. You guys actually bless me by pulling up. I know there's a good amount of people that just watch and they're silent, but those of you guys that are active in the chat and I get a chance to see it and to see the way you guys interact with me, interact with each other, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to me. I appreciate that, man. What's up, Chad? How's it going, man? It's good to see you. All right, man. Y'all remember to hit that like button. What's up, Michelle? Uh-oh, hold up. We got Frankie out of Australia, and he's telling us it's good evening. Appreciate you, man. If I'm not mistaken, I think they are, what are you guys, 12 hours ahead of us? Something along those lines, I believe. Appreciate you, Frankie, man. Appreciate you pulling up. What's up, Ed? How's it going, man? Ed Castley in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you guys very much, man. All right, let's get the show started, man. Hit that like button, share the stream. And if you are watching and you have not said good morning, grand rising, or grace and peace, y'all make sure y'all do that. That's the least that you could do in the chat. Say what's up to everybody, man. Appreciate you guys. Oh, we got another Marylander in the building. Shout out to you. New beginnings. All right, now. Where you at in Maryland? Let me know in the chat. I'll be looking for it.
Our top story, the Supreme Court handing down that 6-3 ruling that clears the way for the Trump administration to restart sweeping ICE raids across Los Angeles. Paul Perez is here now to react. National Border Patrol Council President. Paul, your reaction first to this ruling.
Yeah, this is great for our agents, but it's even better for the citizens of California and our country because it's going to move the impediment of us allowing to go after these criminals that are all over the country. And so it's really great news. Our agents are very well trained. They undergo a very rigorous academy that's both mentally and physically demanding, where we study constitutional law, immigration law, and criminal law. And so they know exactly what they're doing. This only is going to help us do the job a lot better.
All righty. So we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to get into. So we're going to jump right into it at this point. So the Supreme Court, they just handed down a major ruling, which is solid. Supreme Court, man, it's been a lot of wins this year, right? But the Supreme Court, they just handed down a major ruling in a 6-3 decision. And I think we all know which justices made up the 6 and which ones made up the 3. I think we all know by now. I think we do. We all know. This case centers on immigration enforcement in Los Angeles and Southern California. Essentially, the court has lifted restrictions that were previously placed on ICE, restrictions that critics argued were tying the agency's hands when it came to carrying out raids and detaining people suspected of being in the country illegally. Now, for months, lower court rulings, they basically tied ICE's hands, preventing officers from stopping and questioning people who had reasonable suspicion to believe that they were in our country illegally. Liberals and activist judges, they're cheering that restriction. They were cheering on the restriction, but now the Supreme Court has stepped in and said, no, ICE has the authority to enforce the law, and they can continue doing what they were trained to do. And I'm 1,000% here for it. I'm 1,000% here for it.
And Paul, DHS reacting to this ruling, they say in part, quote, "This is a win for the safety of Californians and the rule of law. DHS law enforcement will not be slowed down and will continue to arrest and remove the murderers, rapists, gang members, and other criminal illegal aliens that Karen Bass continues to give safe harbor." Paul, what this ruling is essentially going to do is allow Border Patrol, your men and women, to use location, job type, physical appearance, Spanish speaking as some of the factors when making arrests. Why are those factors important to use?
Those are all considered articulable facts. You know, all our agents and officers are trained on how to testify to everything that we do. We understand that all the actions that we take may wind up having us sit in front of a judge and explaining our actions, because every defendant has the right to counsel, and most of these attorneys are going to try to suppress evidence or suppress the stop. And in this case, it allows us to use those articulable facts to establish the reasonable suspicion or the probable cause to effect an arrest. So we know what we're doing. This only allows us to do it, and it takes into account all of those factors that you mentioned.
All righty, so you already know the leftists. Y'all already know the leftists and the activists. They're out there crying racism. Y'all already know what time it is. Y'all already know what time it is. But this is not racial profiling. It's really just common sense policing backed up by training and experience. That's really what it is. Justice Brett Kavanaugh issued the opinion, and his reasoning was clear. He made it plain that ethnicity alone cannot be the sole basis for stopping someone, and that has never been the law. But what he also clarified is this, and this is important, is that ethnicity, I can't even talk today, these daggone braces, ethnicity can be one relevant factor among many others. And that makes sense. In real world law enforcement, officers don't rely on just one single thing. They look at a combination of articulable facts, right? Language, location, behavior, employment patterns, and yes, sometimes appearance. So the left, they cry racism, but let's just keep it a buck. If you see a guy speaking Spanish, like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who had been in our country for over a decade and hadn't even thought about learning English, I mean, in my opinion, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. So I say, hey, let the left continue to cry racism, because that's what they do, and they always do it. But I want to check in on our friends, over on the left, just to see how they're coping with this particular ruling from the Supreme Court. We got to check it out, man. We got to go check out MSDNC real fast, or I guess MS No One's Watching, because I think they have officially changed the name.
Here's the thing. This is going to come for everyone. That's the point about authoritarianism. What we are seeing right now in this Supreme Court, essentially saying, we will say the president and protecting the president's, our perception of the president's power is more important than protecting people from the overreach, the abuse of power that violates their constitutional rights. And we'll watch it play out, watch people get harmed before we will say it has to stop, if they will even say it has to stop. The red line, if we don't have a red line with the Supreme Court, we have lost a major part of our balance of power. But I think it's so important to ground this in everyday experience, because, yes, people who look Latino or who speak a language like Spanish as a first language are being racially profiled. We have many people in this country who are here lawfully, who have violated no laws, and have certainly contributed nothing but good things to this country, who are being harassed, pulled over, But what we have seen in D.C. and what we've seen in other cities, we've seen it in New York, it isn't only Latinos. It's any black people. My friend's son in Washington, D.C. went to find his passport so he could simply go to work. And he was right to go find his passport as a young black man because he knew they were going to come for him. We have seen blockades in city streets for no reason, deciding who to pull over, and it is people who are Asian or Pacific Islander or Native American or black. It is racially profiling, but it is coming for everyone. And the point here about the military.
We wouldn't even be in this situation if the previous administration didn't allow upwards of 30 million people over here illegally. They wouldn't even be in this position, wouldn't even be in this situation. But you can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. Apparently, it is now considered selfish if you want borders. If you want borders, it's now considered selfish. We wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for the blatant open border policies of the previous administration. The left wants you to believe that ICE is just out here roaming the streets, targeting people just for speaking Spanish, which is nonsense. I mean, the last I checked, we do have a U.S. territory full of Spanish-speaking people in the territory of Puerto Rico, right? We do have that. And they're allowed to come to the United States. And some of them are going to come over here and they're going to have an accent because Spanish is their first language. But they're Puerto Ricans. They are Americans. No, there's a combination of things. There's a combination of things. If you see someone standing outside a Home Depot that doesn't speak English, yeah, you probably should go pull up on those folks. You should probably go pull up on those folks. Reasonable suspicion isn't about skin color. Honestly, it's about behavior. And ICE officers, many of them Latino themselves, are some of the most rigorously trained law enforcement in the country. They know what they're looking for. They know what they're looking for. They do. They know what they're looking for. But what we know when you're dealing with, MSDNC, you're dealing with CNN, a lot of the people that watch the network, I would say, I don't want to be mean, but a lot of them are, low IQ individuals when it comes to what's actually happening. And they only get this information that, they receive from this network here. And it is what it is. So they don't know any better. So they just assume that these people are telling them the truth, like ICE isn't being trained to identify what someone would look like, sound like, the way they would dress, the way they would move, like these people aren't being trained. If you know anything about the military or federal government training, when it comes to, you would know. The drilling and the training it's to an extent, it gets monotonous. And honestly, when I was in the military, I didn't understand why we trained so much. I really didn't. I'm like, man, we just did a fire drill yesterday where we're going to do another one today. We just did a general quarters drill yesterday where we're going to do another one today. We just did a shoring drill yesterday. We're going to do another one today, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. And the reason why we train the way that we train, and I didn't understand it early on as a junior sailor. I didn't understand it until something happened. And all of a sudden, you started moving. You were on autopilot. You were not even thinking. You were just on autopilot. And after that, then I realized, I was like, oh, that's why we train like that. That's why they train you the way they train you, because they don't want you thinking, they want you doing. And the reality of it is that when you're thinking, you're moving slow. Shout out to my guy Hunter with the $5 super chat. Says, did she not hear herself? He said, We have people here unlawfully that have violated no laws. They did then violate the law. I know. I don't even think these people really listen to themselves speak. You know, I really don't. But these ICE agents are rigorously trained in law enforcement in the country. And they have to be. They have to be. In this ruling, man, it wasn't just a win for the president, honestly. It wasn't just a win for the president. It was also a win for America, for Americans. It lets ICE go after the real threats, gang members, rapists, people who have committed some of the most heinous acts in our country. Not harmless families at the grocery store, like the media tries to spin it. But they are going after people that are taking jobs. Y'all heard what happened down in Georgia at the Hyundai plant. There was almost 500 illegal immigrants working in that daggone plant. Those jobs are jobs that should go to American citizens. Yeah, we got to get these people up out of here. And to be honest with you, I also think we need to take it a step further. Any company that is hiring illegal immigrants, they got to go too. They got to go. Hey, fines for everyone that you hire. If you're hiring an illegal immigrant in our country to work illegally under the table, hey, for everyone that you have, there needs to be a $10,000 fine or more. It needs to be a fine that it would just decimate the bottom line of these companies. It can't just be, we caught you, we're going to fine you. No, every person that you have hired illegally, you got to catch a fine for that. Let's not just go after the people, let's go after the businesses as well. Seriously. And the fact is this, man, ICE has consistently taken dangerous criminals off our streets, and now they can keep on doing their job at a high level. And of course, the liberals, the liberal justice, they cried racism with Sotomayor, warning that, it could allow anyone who looks Latino to be stopped, which is just pure, it's a pure scare tactic, but that's who they are. That's what they do. Reasonable suspicion doesn't equal guilt. It's just the first step in enforcing the law. And this isn't just about LA. Sanctuary cities like Chicago, Boston, Baltimore, New York City, they're on notice as well. Immigration is federal responsibility. It's federal responsibility. Local politicians don't get to shield lawbreakers just because it fits their narrative. And at the end of the day, this isn't about racism. It's about sovereignty. It's about safety and common sense. Americans want borders. They want the laws Congress passed enforced. And the people angry about this ruling are the same ones who want open borders and chaos. The Supreme Court just told them no. And this is a win for law and order and a win for the American people. Simple as that. And we kind of we need to make sure that we keep receipts on all of the politicians out here that are flying around. Senator Van Hollen, Glenn Ivey. We got to keep a running tally of all of the senators out here that are pro illegal immigration. And we need to make sure that we do everything that we can to get these people out of office. They got to go. They got to go. But I want to move on. In other news coming out of Washington, the Department of Education is set to release new guidance on school prayer. I don't know if you guys have heard about this just yet, but I felt it was necessary to discuss. There are some new guidelines coming out on school prayer, and I want to talk about it. So this new guidance on school prayer, we're going to break it down real quick. President Donald Trump just announced that the U.S. Department of Education will soon release guidance aimed at protecting the right to prayer in schools. And this comes at a time when the role of religion in public education is a hot button issue, with states like Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana pushing for more Christian teachings in schools, in public schools, that is. But before we dive into that, and before we dive into, why we think this is a step in the right direction, let's look at all sides of the coin. First, let's talk about the facts real fast. Trump made this announcement during a Religious Liberty Commission meeting focused on public education. He didn't provide specifics on, what the guidance will entail, but he tied it to his efforts to roll back protections for transgender students and to combat the woke agenda in public schools. So let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Of our country's history, the Bible was found in every classroom in the nation, yet in many schools today, students are instead indoctrinated with anti-religious propaganda, and some are even punished for their religious beliefs, and very, very strongly punished. It's ridiculous. Joining us this morning is Hannah Allen from Honey Grove, Texas. A few years ago, Hannah organized a group of her classmates to pray for an injured peer. The school principal declared that Hannah's generous act of love was prohibited from taking place in front of the other students. To support students like Hannah, I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools, and it's total protection.
Alrighty, before I keep going, show some love here. Alrighty, shout out to how do you say that? Is it Raciona? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Puerto Rico. Thank you with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. You gotta put that in phonics for me so I can pronounce that properly the next time I see it. It says found your channel a few days ago and love the content you put out. Which books do you have behind you? Always looking for something new to read. Okay, so I don't think you might be the first person to ask about the books that I have behind me. So we'll run through it real quick, and then we'll keep going with the show. So the first book here, this is the Bible. This is the New King James Version, the Study Bible. I'm a big fan. This right here is a book from Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but he wrote this book called Powernomics, and he's talking about a national plan to empower Black America. And he talks about, business ownership and things of that nature. He's been talking about the replacement theory of Black Americans in this country by immigrants and illegal immigrants for quite some time. I mean, this thing goes back to the 90s, or actually the 80s, 90s. This is a book from Og Mandino. The Greatest Salesman in the World, The Greatest Secrets in the World, The Greatest Miracle in the World. If you have not read these 3 books, it's actually 3 books in one. Phenomenal. And this is the autobiography of Malcolm X. Great book. And this is Jason Whitlock's book. I think this is the one and only, but love him or hate him, this is actually really good as well if you're into sports. I like Jason. I know some of you guys don't like him, but I'm a fan. And this is Missing Pillars. There's a brother, Brian K. Shannon. He wrote this book, talking about father absence that's going on in our country. It's actually pretty solid as well. You can check that out on his website. And I'm moving away from the microphone, so I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear me. Let me take that rubber band out here. And then let me see here. This is from Rush. See, I told you so. This is a phenomenal book right here. Rush Limbaugh. Great book. And then this is Booker T. Washington. That's that picture right here. He actually wrote this book called The Negro in Business back in the early 1900s, which is solid. If you haven't read his autobiography, Up From Slavery, phenomenal. And Reza said he don't like Whitlock. I understand. Some people don't like him. I like him from a sports perspective. I actually do appreciate I can appreciate some of his takes. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but I feel like, you can still, watch and support, folks that even if you don't agree with everything that they have or that they say more or less. If you guys haven't read the See I Told You So, book's phenomenal from Rush. And then this is from Andrew Womack, Every Day with Jesus. This is a good book. They actually sent this over to if you're a partner there. This is from my guy Zig Ziglar. If you guys are in the sales or business, see you at the top. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. And then this book right here is Business Secrets on the Bible. This is from Rabbi Lapin. This came out not too long ago. And it's actually a really, really good book. And then this right here, man, Survival Handbook, man, SAS, the Survival Handbook, man. I think you should have this right here just in case if the lights go out. If the lights go out, you want to have this on deck for sure because it has all kinds of tricks, trade secrets, things of that nature. Yeah. So yeah, I was just going through the books, AT, from that are here, behind me. Shout out to AT. It's good to see you, brother. With the $5 super chat says, thanks for going through the books. Did I miss what you're currently reading? Let's see. What am I currently reading? I'm still finishing up Vince Everett Ellison's book, The Iron Triangle. And I kind of flip-flop between fiction and nonfiction. So I just finished the latest Mitch Rap series book from, well, actually, it was Vince. What is the name of the guy? Hold up a second here. I just finished it. It was it's a, what you would call a kind of a fictional book. But Vince Flynn, if you guys are familiar with Vince Flynn, he has the Mitch Rap series. I just finished Enemy at the Gates, which is solid. If you guys are into like Tom Clancy type novels, that's kind of the realm of a Vince Flynn. Phenomenal. Vince Flynn passed away, but they have another writer that kind of keep things going. If you're not familiar with Vince Flynn is phenomenal. The first book called Turn. It kind of jumps into the Mitch Rap series, which is solid. They did a movie, American Assassin. It's not good. The movie, it's okay. I'm not gonna say it's not good, but the book is way better. But that's normally the case, right? That's normally the case. But we're gonna get back into things. Appreciate the question. Oh, the Naughty American Expat said, you read all the Vince Flynns. Yeah, the Vince Flynn, man, phenomenal. I'm a fan. I've pretty much read them all as well. But we're gonna keep things going. So the new guidance, on allowing prayer or not allowing prayer, in the schools or in public schools, essentially is not a situation where it's creating new rights. I like Jack Carr as well. Yeah. You guys, man, we can talk about Vince Flynn. I like I like Jack Carr as well. I'm all the way caught up on Jack Carr. I'm all the way caught up there, which is, man, solid. Hey, we might have to do a show just talking about books. We might have to do a show just talking about the books because I am a avid reader and I flip flop. I switch between fiction and nonfiction. But even the fictional books that I read, there has some there is some truth to it, right? If you guys are familiar with Jack Carr, Reacher's okay. Reacher's okay. I haven't 100% got into Reacher, but Reacher is okay. But the Jack Carr series and it's Jack Carr, but what's the name of the main character? Goodness gracious, it's James. Somebody help me out. And I cannot remember. Oh my goodness. That's gonna drive me crazy right now. But we might have to do that. We might have to do a show just talking about, books. Some really good books to read, out there. I have my bookshelf over there and I've, read a multitude of books. I'm an avid reader though. Unapologetic, the Kerner report. I'm gonna have to check that out. All right, LJ. Good to see you. All right, so y'all done threw me off. But look at that, Laureatus and the Wise Book Club. Yeah, we might have to do that. We might have to do that. We might have to do that. But do you guys recall back in the day, they didn't necessarily call it prayer, but you pretty much got that moment of silence. You pretty much got that moment of silence before we started school during homeroom, right? You'd get that moment of silence that you could do what you want to with. You had to be quiet, but you could pray, you could just sit there and meditate, you could, just sit there silent, if that's what you wanted to do, but that option was afforded to you, right? That option was afforded to you. So the new guidance and these new guidelines that are coming out, it really isn't there to create new rights. It's really about, the students, having the ability to pray voluntarily or having the right to do so. And they can pray with friends if they want to do so and include religious content in speeches if they choose to do so. Now, what teachers can't do and never could do is lead prayer or force students to participate. They couldn't do that. But the new rules just clarify and reinforce what's already been in the law, right? So some of you guys may be asking, why is this a thing now? And the reason is because there is a cultural shift happening. There's a cultural shift happening. Oklahoma wants the Bible in classrooms. Texas approved Bible-based curriculum. Arkansas and Louisiana pushed 10 Commandment displays, in schools, and they pushed them through courts. They pushed them through, but the courts actually struck it down. But the Supreme Court even ruled that parents can opt out of alphabet community lessons on religious grounds. But here's the tension. America was built on a church and state separation. No one religion dominates. And that's what makes us pluralistic. Yet in practice, the standard isn't always applied evenly. Muslim students routinely pray in schools without much controversy. But when Christian students pray, suddenly it's a constitutional crisis. And that's the double standard that we're seeing play out right now. Before I get into my next clip, I want to acknowledge the super chat real fast. Shout out to Jamar Edge with the $10 super chat. Says, just start listening to you about a month. Keep the positive energy. Your show is a light amongst the darkness, man. God bless you, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
America is the cancer. America, the American government, secularism, democracy, capitalism, these are cancers that have spread their illness all over the world. In America and in the Middle East. In America over here, people have the freedom to, again, like I said before, commit zina, do all this fahisha, but when you speak up, it's a problem. Non-Muslims are tired of this cancer. They're tired of the American government. They're tired of democracy. They want to see a new way of life. And as Muslims, we have to understand that we have that new way of life. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent as a mercy for all of mankind. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He was sent as a mercy. Why? Because the way of life he brought will bring that mercy. The way of life he brought will bring that tranquility to Muslims and non-Muslims. Non-Muslims won't have to worry about these issues they worry about now. They won't have to, because Islam is a just religion that has come to be implemented upon society.
All right, so what you just saw right there is a University of Illinois Chicago student making some pretty inflammatory statements. Now, we have this little thing called freedom of speech in America. And yeah, this is free speech. It is. But it's also a direct attack on the very foundation of our nation. And yet this student faces no consequences, no deportation, no backlash. In fact, they're allowed to stay, to study, to continue to spread these types of views on a college campus. Now, contrast that with what happens to Christian students. The Department of Education just revealed that the Biden administration weaponized the department against Christians by, and I want you guys to see this, and give me a second. I want to pull this up. This guy up out of here. But, you know, they basically says that the government has slapped record fines on Christian universities and even targeted school boards for listening to parents' faith-based objections. Now, with President Trump's announcement, the message is clear. It's a call to prayer, a call back to being one nation under God. Over the years, faith has been chipped away. It's been chipped away. Once we said the pledge, we used to wish people a Merry Christmas and spoke the name of Jesus without controversy. Now, faith is mocked, not faith. Christianity is mocked, censored, or sidelined. And it's almost 100% mocked when it comes to Christianity. It is the one practice, the one religion, the one faith that is under constant attack by these liberals. Parents who push back on sexualized content for little kids are accused of banning books, while chaos on elite campuses get a pass as free expression. And enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. Why are books about gender change even in schools for 5-year-olds? A young man did put it perfectly. A young man, that is.
I'm Shane Cias. I've been a Christian my whole life, and Jesus means everything to me. When I was in 5th grade, my school forced me to teach my kindergarten buddy about changing his gender using a book called My Shadow is Pink. The book said you can choose your gender based on feelings instead of how God made us. I knew this was not right, but I was afraid of getting in trouble. After my family spoke up, the school treated us badly, and kids started bullying me and my brother because of our faith. And the school did nothing to stop it. It hurt a lot, but I kept trusting God. I believe kids like me should be able to live our faith at school without being forced to go against what we believe. I hope no other family has to go through what mine did. Thank you.
Thank you, Shay. Great job. That was delivered well.
Hey, that young man, oh my goodness, man. I got to replay that one more time. I got to replay that. We're not going to, I'll stop it, before we get to this point. But that young man, goodness gracious, God bless him.
Hi, I'm Shane Cias. I've been a Christian my whole life, and Jesus means everything to me. When I was in 5th grade, my school forced me to teach my kindergarten buddy about changing his gender using a book called My Shadow is Pink. The book said you can choose your gender based on feelings instead of how God made us. I knew this was not right, but I was afraid of getting in trouble. After my family spoke up, the school treated us badly, and kids started bullying me and my brother because of our faith. And the school did nothing to stop it. It hurt a lot, but I kept trusting God. I believe kids like me should be able to live our faith at school without being forced to go against what we believe. I hope no other family has to go through what mine did. Thank you.
Now we have 12-year-olds out there with more courage than adults running schools. Seriously, way more courage. What an amazing young man. You can tell he's been raised right. He's being raised properly. You can see it. And he's not wrong. Let's be real here, man. There's a massive difference between saying a kindergarten library should focus on Dr. Seuss opposed to sexual themes. And the idea of outlawing literature like this shouldn't be controversial, to say the least. Parents asking for age-appropriate boundaries isn't censorship. It's common sense. And in the case of pro-life activists arrested, with full SWAT style optics, and you start seeing a pattern here. The government is lightning fast when it comes to, wanting to make, an example out of Christians, but strangely timid when speech or conduct crosses lines in the other direction. But that has to change, and it has to change immediately. And I'm looking forward to the change.
The first ever Department of Justice task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias. And for those people that are a little bit naive or not well read, there is a tremendous anti-Christian bias. We don't hear about it. We don't think about it. You hear about anti-Semitic, but you don't hear about anti-Christian. Now, you have a strong anti-Christian bias, but we're ending that rapidly. I will tell you, we're in a much different world today than we were 1 year ago. This is like a different world.
Yeah, I agree. We're in a much different world. And shout out to my guy AT with the $5 super chat, says the truth will always be attacked. You can't name a single blockbuster, high profile movie attacking Muslims, for example. No, you can't. You can't. I can't think of one. Trump's new call to prayer and his promise of a task force against anti-Christian bias, it just hits on something simple. The government should never be used to target believers. Millions of Americans feel pushed to the margins, and this resonates with a lot of us. Faith makes communities stronger, not because people are perfect, but because it teaches accountability, dignity, and purpose. It tells men to step up, women that they're more than what the culture sells, and all of us to treat our neighbors with respect. Without that anchor, kids drift into nihilism, chasing cheap thrills with no hope for tomorrow. And we see the fallout in crime, violence, broken lives. We have kids out there that they just don't care about life. They don't. Now, I will say this, faith, Christianity, it's not going to erase evil, but it does push back. It plants seeds of meaning that tether people to something greater than impulse. And that's why a national call to prayer matters, not as a wedge, but as a reminder of who we are. It shouldn't be controversial to say God at a game, or pray at the dinner table, or to end your prayer in Jesus' name, or to set boundaries in schools. Shouldn't be controversial to do so. And it's unacceptable for government agencies to treat Christians like a suspect class. We're not liberal versus conservative. We're not a liberal versus conservative America. We're just Americans. And living your faith without the state breathing down your neck, it should never be up for debate. It should never be up for debate. And last but not least, I want to talk about yet another tragic story that's flying under the radar on the national media. And I want to talk about it. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I do want to talk about it. So let's get into it.
It's giving flashbacks to Ferguson and the killing of Michael Brown Jr. This man, Dorian Johnson, was with Michael Brown the day he was shot and killed by police. Now we're learning Johnson has been shot and killed. Early this morning, shots were fired in a Ferguson neighborhood and rumors started swirling about who was involved. That shooting happened on Abaco Court, just east of West Florissant Avenue. First Alert 4 started making phone calls to find out if the rumors were true, and we have confirmed the man shot and killed at the scene was Michael Brown Jr.'s friend, Dorian Johnson.
All righty. So, 5 years ago, Ferguson exploded after Michael Brown's death. I'm sure you guys remember the marches, the riots. I'm sure you guys remember that. You know, the story was that Brown had his hands up, surrendering, and was executed anyway. Hands up, don't shoot. That became the rallying cry. I'm sure you guys remember that. but some folks say it was a lie. Brown had attacked an officer and gone for his weapon. Still, the damage was done. Ferguson burned, cops were demonized, and Black Lives Matter was born out of that false narrative, at least one of those false narratives, because Black Lives Matter, the first time I heard about it, I think it was up here during the Freddie Gray riots. And now we circle back. Dorian Johnson was the friend who spread the hands up, don't shoot narrative. And now he has been shot and killed near where Brown died. The rumor mill immediately blamed the police, but that wasn't the case. A suspect is already in custody. Johnson's life didn't end at the hands of the police, although it did end. And most likely at the hands of someone from his own community, unfortunately. But this is something that it's happening entirely too much in a plethora of communities across the country.
Jordan Burrell joins us in the newsroom with more details as reaction begins to pour in tonight. Jordan.
Yeah, good evening, Morgan. It's a sad Sunday for many in Ferguson and beyond tonight. Many mourning the loss of Dorian Johnson, the man who made national headlines for being the friend who was last with Michael Brown Jr. before he was killed. On social media, people call the 33-year-old a St. Louis and Ferguson legend that is gone way too soon. The man and friend of Michael Brown Jr., Dorian Johnson, was there when police shot and killed Brown more than 10 years ago. First Alert 4 spoke to him shortly after that incident. He recalled the death of his friend.
He shot again, and once my friend felt that shot, he turned around and he put his hands in the air, and he started to get down, but the officer still approached with his weapon drawn, and he fired several more shots.
On Sunday, 33-year-old Johnson became a victim himself, not even a mile from the spot that his friend was shot and killed 11 years ago in the 9,000 block of Abaco Drive. Ferguson police say they were called around 8:30 Sunday morning for a man that had been shot. They say Dorian Johnson later died at the hospital from his injuries. First Alert 4 reached out to Dorian Johnson's family, but they have not responded. We spoke to his grandmother, Brenda Johnson, back in 2015 after Johnson and his brother were arrested. She had concerns about Dorian and their family after he made national headlines during the Ferguson unrest.
Dorian has this target on his back, so it makes it easy. You know, well, if we can't get to you, we'll get your brothers, we'll get your family, we'll get anybody that's close to you.
Ferguson police confirmed that an individual in custody and warrants have been applied for with the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office. While the investigation continues, an outpouring of love and support for Johnson and his family floods social media timelines. In 2015, Johnson filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city of Ferguson, the former police chief Thomas Jackson, and the officer who shot Brown. That suit was dismissed by both parties at the end of 2024. Live in the newsroom, Jordan Burrell, First Alert 4.
All right, Jordan, thank you.
All righty. So we got to talk about the hypocrisy, man. We got to talk about the hypocrisy. Because we're all told, even right now with everything that's going on all around the country, you got Mayor Scott, you know, Governor Moore out there marching in Baltimore City, not too far away from where a 5-year-old was gunned down in the Park Heights section of Baltimore. You got Governor Johnson out there, you know, acting like everything's just okay. Everything's okay. Everybody's safe. But we got to discuss the hypocrisy with these people, man. I mean, we're told that, you know, Black men live in constant fear of racist white cops. That's what that's the narrative that you're going to hear from mainstream media. That's the narrative. That systemic racism is the biggest threat, you know, to, you know, Black men, Black women in this country. But the truth is this: most Black men who lose their lives are unfortunately killed by other Black men. And that's the fact that no activist wants to talk about. Mainstream media will not touch it. They won't. Absolutely, Mike C. Absolutely, Mike C. The police officer, Darren Wilson, he was demonized as the face of evil after the Michael Brown situation. Yet the real danger to Brown and Dorian Johnson wasn't the police. It was their own neighborhoods. It was their own neighborhoods. Imagine if the energy spent rioting and chanting, hands up, don't shoot, had gone into cleaning up the streets, confronting gangs, and protecting the families that live in these communities. Imagine. Maybe Johnson wouldn't have become another statistic. And the bitter irony is this. Johnson, who pushed the false narrative, hands up, don't shoot. He wasn't killed by a cop. He wasn't killed by a white man, but likely by someone from the same community that he claimed to defend. And that says everything about where the real threat lies. I mean, it's not systemic racism, man. It's the violence within. And until we face that truth, nothing will change in these communities. This morning I was at the gym, and I'm talking to my guy, and he was talking about how the Republicans are racist. And I had to ask him. There's no Republicans in Baltimore City. None. They're not in the city council. They're not on the school board. There hadn't been a Republican mayor since the 60s. I'm like, what are we talking about? When you think about the systemic issues, and I can just speak on what's going on in Baltimore City, some of the highest funded schools in the nation and some of the worst schools in the nation. I talked about it yesterday. We had a young lady, that was killed by an illegal immigrant, thrown off a bridge, for 50 out in Annapolis. Crickets from the people here in Maryland, from the Black Lives Matter chapter here in Maryland. Crickets. Nothing. Because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative. It was an illegal immigrant that did the crime. Had it been a white man that did it, they'd probably be still marching and burning, trying to burn down Annapolis. There's so many issues, man, that's going on in these communities, man. And it's rare that you see someone white, and it's rare that you see someone Republican in those communities. I mean, these people, they have fought against school choice in these communities. They have, fought and marched against any help from the federal government to help police and keep the community safe, which ultimately would keep the people safe. They keep the kids boxed into schools that they're not even, the education is on the back burner in a lot of these schools. Most of the teachers are just they're really just babysitting for the 6 hours and saying that, hey, we gave them a public education. The school to prison pipeline is real in so many of these communities around the country. But no one wants to have a conversation about what should be done. When you hear out in Baltimore, out in, you hear out in Chicago, there are 254 homicides at this point. When you hear, out here in a smaller town, in Baltimore, where The carjackings are up through the roof. The robberies, the armed robberies are up through the roof. No one wants to have these conversations. No one wants to talk about it. It's sad, man. St. Louis. It's one of the top 10 cities when it comes to homicide in America. Along with Memphis. Along with New Orleans. Along with Baltimore. Along with Chicago. It's rare that you would find someone white. It's rare that you would find someone Republican in those communities, in those cities in charge. It's rare. I'll have to go look at that LS. I'll have to go look at that case again. I'll have to go look at that again. It's been a while. It's actually been a long time. And I'm only talking about this just because, this young man passed away in his community. I mean, it's sad, man. But even with that, and you may be right, LS. You may be right there. But you may be right there, but Mike Brown was one individual. I'd like to see what was the numbers on the number of homicides out there. And they rioted, looted, and burned the city down for one individual, but didn't care about any of the other people that had lost their lives to gun violence in that place. And that's why folks kind of give you the side eye and they don't take you seriously. Because you got people willing to they'll be up in arms for one situation. But probably the night before, someone else was killed. And no one cared. I mean, if you're going to be up in arms about it, be up in arms about it all. I just talked about what happened out in the Park Heights area of Baltimore last week. There was a 5-year-old kid that was killed. No march, no riots, no protests, nothing. I'm not sitting here condoning police brutality. When you see it, it should be called out. But let's just keep it a buck. You're less likely to have something like that done to you by the police in comparison to, certain folks in these communities. Let's just keep it real. Shout out to Amethyst Angel with the $5 super chat. Says, did you hear their remote schooling on Chirac to keep kids of illegals safe? All will suffer again. That's ridiculous, but that doesn't surprise me. It is Chicago. It is Brandon Johnson. That doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, these people are pro-illegal immigrant over anything else, right? The city is about to go bankrupt, yet they're still spending money hand over fist for illegal immigrants. It's crazy. Unapologetic one. Yeah. Somebody had said something in the comment section, not today in the chat, but in one of the videos, and they were talking about how much money is made off of the crime in the communities. And if they actually cleaned it up, they discussed how much money would be lost because there is an entire ecosystem around the crime in these communities. And I'm kicking myself that I hadn't thought about it in that manner. I am kicking myself because I hadn't even thought about it in that manner. But there is an industry around the crime and the death in these communities. Think about it. All of your defense lawyers, all of your public defenders, they're needed. They need money because most of these people can't afford a lawyer. Then you think about, the hospitals, the doctors, the nurses. You think about that. Send that over to me, Amethyst. Thank you. There is an entire ecosystem around it. There's no benefit. There's no benefit to stopping the crime because everybody's making money off of it. There is money to be made. Think about it. If they go in and they clean up the cities, if they go in there and they clean the cities up, you're going to have people with nothing to do. They're going to have to let go of these people at the hospitals. They're going to have to let go of, they may not need as many police officers. Let's not forget the jails and the prison and the prison industrial complex. There is an entire ecosystem around allowing the crime to happen in certain communities around the country. Think about that. I'm gonna have to go check that out, Jamar. That Charleston White spoke about. I might actually do a reaction to that today. I'm gonna have to go see if I can find that video and check that out. But somebody had put that in the comment section. I was like, you know what? Makes complete sense. Complete sense. Shout out to Jeff with the $11 super chat. Says, must fit the narrative. Black on black equals silent. White on black equal blame Trump. Or I wouldn't even say blame Trump. Blame white supremacy. Unless it's a leftist, then blame the gun. No life is worthless unless your name is Koo and you live in Atlanta, Lil Levity. Even Koo's life worth is I don't have any ill will towards Koo. He missed a kick. It is what it is. I mean, hey, I bet if we come watch any of you guys, at work, we'll see you make some mistakes. His just happened to, happen in front of everybody. Yeah. Hey, LS, I do remember that. The judge in Virginia that was sentencing criminals to get kickbacks from the correctional facilities. Yeah, they sent his behind the jail too. They sent his behind the jail, but I do remember that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Biden pardoned that dude and let that guy out of jail. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me, but I'm almost for certain that dude is out now. He got pardoned by the previous president. Eric Smith says, yes, Southeast DC has a whole crime ecosystem. Yeah, a lot of these communities do. There is money to be made and everybody gets it. Shout out to Malachi with the $2 super chat. Says Charleston White talked to Anton Daniels about it. I mean, I need to go watch that. I need to watch it. Maybe do a reaction to it. So if there's money to be made, and we're not talking about a couple 100,000. I mean, this is probably $1 billion industry when you think about everybody that makes money around what's going on in these communities. Yeah, I understand. It's starting to make sense why they're fighting tooth and nail. It's starting to make sense. They don't want to mess the money up. It's unfortunate that it's on the backs of poor people, poor blacks and whites and Hispanics. It's unfortunate because it's not a, I mean, so many people want to make it a race thing, but I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's a class thing. I think it's more about class than it is race. Because you'll have these crimes of despair. You'll have these people in these communities, poor whites and poor blacks, poor Hispanics as well. And people act like, hey, you go over into Brooklyn Park around the way, majority of those people over in that area are white people, and they would be considered, the poor whites in the area in Baltimore. And yeah, they getting it too. So, I think so many people, try to really make it about race, but really it's more about class than anything. And there is an ecosystem around the lower class of people and the crime and the destruction that they continue to commit, in their areas, in their locale. And for the most part, think about this. Most of your police departments, their job is to make sure that they keep the riffraff insulated in these certain sections. If you bleed out of those sections, they'll come get you. They'll come down hard on you. But as long as you stay in that vicinity, very similar to Amsterdam, if you guys remember The Wire, where they were like, hey, y'all keep all of the riffraff right down in here. And they had police, at different, blocks and things of that nature to make sure that these people didn't leave. You had to stay down there with that. Now, if you stepped out of it, they'd be on your head. But they've created these barriers that basically box people into these communities. Uh-oh. Yeah, Spaces. Yeah, he said Chicago supposedly gets $800 million a year for anti-violence and crime reduction efforts. So yes, there's a bag for them to get by letting crime happen. Yeah, all the nonprofits, all the nonprofit organizations. I mean, think about the homeless situation out in California, how much money they spent on it. There is no money in solving problems. There's no money in solving problems. Do we got to put Troy in timeout? What's going on? What's up with him? Keep it peaceful, bro. Free speech is a thing. It's a thing over here, but keep it peaceful. Yeah. 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 It's definitely about class. It's definitely class. Because, I had Jason on the show yesterday. And fairly well-to-do brother. And he was saying, hey, I don't want the train, I don't want the MARTA train coming up this way because I don't want those people in my community. I've talked to folks, out in other areas, and these are Black folks that are well-to-do, and they say the same thing. Hey, we don't want those people in our community. Let's not bring public transportation out this way. Let's not do that, right? Yeah, it's definitely class and economics, and that has always been the case. Troy, I'd like to hear your solution. I'll give you some shine. He says racism was phase one for capitalism. I'd like to hear your solution because I mean, when it comes to capitalism, that is, I hadn't seen a better way, being implemented in any other country. I hadn't seen it. But if you have a solution, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. Now, somebody else had mentioned, like, hey, if a lot of these people in these neighborhoods started getting insurance policies, life insurance policies, that is, the insurance companies would lobby. They would lobby for the police to do a better job in these communities because it's costing them a lot of money. Could you imagine all of the young people in these communities, their parents start putting $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 life insurances on them? Could you imagine? Do you think the insurance companies, either they're gonna decide, hey, you live in a certain zip code, we're not going to give you a policy, we're not going to insure you, or two, yeah, they'll take the policy and they're going to put some pressure on the police departments in these communities to do a better job, put some pressure on the government to do a better job. Summer Scott said the auto pen pardoned him. Yeah. LS, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, because I went through and you know, doing this on a day-to-day basis, you know, a lot of this stuff, man, it starts to blend together after a while. And people ask me, like, man, you said something, you know, that was profound about a week, 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, man, I don't remember. I don't remember because it was 2 weeks ago. I'm on to the next. But there was a list of people that was pardoned. I'm almost for certain that that judge was pardoned. And there, if I'm not mistaken, not only the judge, but there was somebody else that was involved in that situation that got out as well. But yeah, that just goes to show you, man. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Uh-oh, unapologetic one. She said, I live around the upper class and rich, and let me tell you that they think less of anyone who isn't monetarily on their level, and skin color doesn't have anything to do with it. Yeah. Yeah. I've been around, you know, I've been around some wealthy folks. And yeah, skin color doesn't have a whole lot. I mean, they, for the most part, do speak a different language. And a lot of times, you know, some folks that don't speak that language, regardless of who you are, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, if you don't speak that language, you're gonna stick out, and you're probably gonna feel like you don't fit in because the conversations are different in those environments. And it's not, you know, about how much melanin you have. It's really about, you know, it's a mindset thing. And you know, folks of a certain class, you know, their mindset's a little different. The conversations are different. The way they move, the way they go about doing things are different. Uh-oh. All right, TA, take care, brother. It's good to see you, man. And with that being said, we're gonna get ready to get up out of here, man. Appreciate you guys pulling up. LS, you're right. Yeah, there's no money in cures, man. There's no money in cures. No money in cures. Jamar, you're absolutely right, man. You're right about Malcolm. All right, we're gonna get ready to get up out of here, man. But I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. Lord willing, we'll be at this thing tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Queen Chloe with the $20 super chat. Says, have you thought about the fact that illegal immigrants are protected in sanctuary cities is a form of cheap labor, child labor for trafficking, hidden slavery, not to be offensive, abuse of the desperate? Yes. And yes, it makes a lot of sense. But they, for the most part, have also come out and said that, hey, yeah, this is what we're doing. This is what we want. Yeah. Yeah. Mike C, reading A Millionaire Next Door, man, that is a phenomenal, phenomenal book. I've actually I've read and listened to that thing at least, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times. I actually just went through the summary over the weekend, which is phenomenal. But I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you all pulling up this morning, man. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Like I said, not as long as yesterday. Not as long as yesterday. Friday will be the panel show. So Fridays are normally a little longer than normal just because, you know, we'll have, you know, folks will have guests on the show. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be the same time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we'll have, you know, my, you know, friends of the show will pull up and, oh, Live A. Got you. I got you, Kathy. It seems from my end, it looked like love, but I got you. Kathy Lave. I got you. But yeah, so Friday, panel show. We'll be back at this thing tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe I'll have some guests on as well. Maybe we'll do a call in or two as well. Appreciate all my blues pulling up. B, shout out to you, Lori. Shout out to Zephyr K9. Shout out to Michelle. Who else? Brett Montgomery. Appreciate you guys keeping things peaceful in the chat. Appreciate you all, man. Enjoy the Tuesday. I know we're starting to get that crisp fall air. Summer is almost over. And we're getting that crisp fall air in the mornings, which is awesome. I'm so looking forward to that. Like I told you guys, I don't really care for the winter months, but I do love fall, and I'm a really big fan of spring. And you know, obviously it's my favorite time of the year. It's football season, man. Football season. So appreciate you guys pulling up, man. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Shout out to everybody that supported the channel financially. Shout out to all my ARP family members. Appreciate you guys, man. As always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. You guys take care. God bless. Peace.
Vibes so